The Basketball Hall of Fame honors those who have shown exceptional skill as a player, coach, or other major contributor to the sport, though anyone can be considered as a Hall of Famer for many different reasons. However, using Python, I will train two classification models to predict current and recently retired players' chances of becoming a Hall of Famer and potential first ballot based on previous Hall of Famers. A first ballot Hall of Famer is a player who was inducted on their first appearance on the ballot and known as one of the greatest of all time. These players include Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. As of 2022, players are eligible for the Hall of Fame after they have been fully retired for at least 3 years. Knowing this, here are some questions to consider. Before answering these questions, I'll have to scrape player stats with Python and Beautiful Soup. Basketball Reference is a great website to scrape and gather team and player information, and conveniently, there is a directory page containing all NBA players. First, let's take a look at Kobe Bryant. By right-clicking on an element on the page, we can inspect it as an HTML and CSS code. Next, I will import the Beautiful Soup library into Jupyter Notebooks and use my custom functions with keywords, loops, and conditions to extract the necessary stats. From there, we have extracted all of Kobe Bryant's stats and awards. All NBA player stats are extracted and stored into a data frame, then cleaned and converted into CSV files.
O'Neal got a piece of it.
Before visualizing the data, I'll need to filter the CSV files to players who are eligible for the Hall of Fame. I'll grab every player who was retired and last active before 2019, since the 2022 Hall of Fame class has already been inducted. Now when visualizing the data, I used bar plots to look at Hall of Fame players per position and team, as well as looking at the averages between Hall of Famers and non-Hall of Famers. Scatter plots are included to look at career totals such as number of championships and MVP awards. Finally, I've added distribution histograms to look at the frequency of seasons played, total win shares, and total All-Star and All-NBA selections. With this data, let's answer this question. First, we'll look at Patrick McCaw. He's a 3-time NBA champion. Although, would you consider him to be Hall of Fame worthy? By looking at his career stats, we can see he is mostly below average, and the biggest reasons he won those championships were because he played with 4 potential Hall of Famers. And even comparing his stats to Karl Malone, who has never won a championship, Patrick McCaw doesn't even compare. Looking at the scatter plot, Malone with 0 championships was a first ballot Hall of Famer, whereas a player with 8 championships still has not been inducted, so other factors have to be included.
Conference finals between the Celtics.
To find the most correlated variables among Hall of Famers and first ballot Hall of Famers, I used the correlation matrix. Any variables higher than a 0.5 were included as predictive variables for the classification models. Out of these models, logistic regression and random forest classifier were the most accurate, so let's go ahead and use these in our predictions. First, we'll check out the predictions for Patrick McCaw and Malone. In all seriousness, here are the results for all active players, with predicted first ballots bolded. Unsurprisingly, these 9 players are predicted to be first ballots and are top 20 in terms of Hall of Fame probability. I've noticed the random forest model has 7 All-Stars, 5 All-NBAs, 100 win shares, and 13 seasons as the minimum qualifications. The biggest first ballot snub on this list is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's regarded as the best player in the world, and many would consider him as a future Hall of Famer. However, he only has 6 All-Stars, 5 All-NBAs, 87.5 total win shares, and 8 seasons played, so the model doesn't predict him as a first ballot Hall of Famer if he were to retire today. Plus, there are many superstars that have similar stats as him.
Nowitzki drives, goes underneath, lefty layup, banks it in!
Finally, here are what the models predict to be the top candidates for the 2023 Hall of Fame class, with predicted first ballots bolded. These are the top 10 candidates, though it is likely going to be these 4 who are going to be inducted as finalists. Although Pau Gasol and Tony Parker are just under the minimum to be predicted first ballots, many would consider them to be inducted as Hall of Famers in 2023. And obviously, Dirk Nowitzki and Dwayne Wade are predicted as Hall of Fame locks.
Here's Middleton, Giannis trailing the lob. Oh! Giannis Antetokounmpo from Chris Middleton.